I am not a great fan of novels that place fantasy in contemporary or Victorian-style urban settings. There are exceptions, of course. King Rat by China Miéville and American Gods by Neil Gaiman, both set in the modern world, come to mind. And Blood Over Brighthaven by L Wang, set in a quasi-Victorian come Edwardian style world, is another. It was recommended by a friend who has similar tastes in fantasy to myself. I was reluctant to pick it up at first. I'd started her novel Sword of Kaigen, but for some reason couldn't get into it. It seemed to border on young adult fiction. But on the urging of my friend, I read Blood Over Brighthaven to the end, and while I still maintain that this is not my type of fantasy, it is a very good book. The story follows Skiona, the first woman to achieve the rank of High Mage in the city of Tiran, and her taciturn assistant, the refugee Thomil. Together they discover that Tiran's magic, which protects the city from something called the Blight, is actually fueled by the very thing that Blight destroys, the people and land outside the city. Skiona must confront the ethical implications of Tiran's magic and the suffering it causes, while also facing opposition from her fellow mages, who are determined to maintain the status quo. In a couple of places it becomes a little too touchy-feely for me. At one point, L Wang devotes pages and pages to Skiona plunging into suicidal depression after she realises that her magic is costing lives in the wastelands outside the city. For me, this is a little self-indulgent, but L Wang knows her readership and what they want, and you can't argue with success on the scale she's achieved. For me, Blood Over Brighthaven had a deeper, darker message which touched on a problem which now plagues our modern world, the plight of refugees. The assistant to Skiona is Thomil, who sought refuge in the city to escape the Blight, which has killed his entire tribe and almost everyone he loves. From his experiences in the city of Tiran, I got a very clear impression of how refugees from the Third World, who are accepted into Western countries, must feel in our own time. On an even deeper level, it made me think of how the West has plundered the resources of the Third World, saddled them with enormous debt, and then denied asylum to many of those who sought refuge from the chaos and brutality that is the aftermath of Western imperialism. The refugees in the fictional city of Tiran, who've lost everything through the magic used to protect the city, are treated with the same contempt as those seeking asylum in our world today. But I digress, as is my wont. Now that I have finished Blood Over Brighthaven, I can thoroughly recommend it as a great read. It's still not my favourite fantasy genre, but as a result of reading it, I shall turn my attention back to the Sword of Kaigen. Well, that's all for this episode. If you like these podcasts and find them useful, please follow or subscribe and share them with your friends. If you want to help with the cost of making them, you can buy me a cup of coffee.